Welcome to my channel Cine Chills. Let's enjoy the explanation of the movie. The girl sees scary things every night, but her mother Ame thinks she is afraid of power outages. This house is the ancestral home of Ame's mother's family. A few days ago, Ame just moved the girl back and the girl found something wrong. What are you doing? There is a locked room in the house. Ame is not interested in this. She moved to the city 30 years ago. If she hadn't been abused by her husband, she would never have taken her daughter back to live in the ancestral home. The ancestral home has been gone for too long and there is no human touch. Every room is gloomy. Ame let her daughter live in her childhood bedroom, but her daughter is still very scared. No matter where Ame goes, her daughter will follow Ame. Ame can only tell her that this house was built 100 years ago, so it will look rather shabby. Ame asks daughter, "Don't be afraid." But this house will lose power when it rains, and whenever it loses power, her daughter will see a terrifying scene. She trembled and pointed behind Ame and said there was a person there. But Ame looked back and saw nothing. Ame didn't know why her daughter was screaming. In order to comfort her daughter, Ame took out a flashlight and went out to check whether the generator could be used. Ame was startled by a mouse in the warehouse outside the house. Fortunately, everything went well and the power was restored. Ame breathed a sigh of relief and prepared to take her daughter home to rest. But unexpectedly, the lights that had just been turned on went out again. Ame could only take her daughter to make do with it for one night. In order to prevent her daughter from clamoring to leave, Ame played hide-and-seek with her daughter the next day. Ame hid under the bed and waited for her daughter to find her. She saw a pair of small feet appear in the bedroom. After turning around, the small feet left the room. Ame didn't want her daughter to die, so she quickly got up and chased after her. Unexpectedly, her daughter, "Why is he wearing a strange mask from nowhere and going to the study to paint?" His daughter is beside him, so who is the masked child he just saw? Ame felt incredible, but in order not to increase her daughter's fear, she did not tell her daughter about it. It rained heavily outside again at night. The house was dark. Her daughter suddenly got up from the bed and breathed quickly. Ame thought she had a nightmare, but her daughter said that there was a person standing at the end of the bed. It was nothing. "I was just having a nightmare." After dawn, her daughter cried and said she didn't want to live here anymore. But before Ame could comfort her, she saw a figure flashing outside the door. She chased after it out of curiosity. Who knew that it was the masked child she saw yesterday? Ame walked up to ask whose child it was, but her daughter ran downstairs at this time. She stood outside the woods, motionless, as if, "What did you see?" "I saw someone standing there." The location of the ancestral house is very remote. There is only one family far away. Ame didn't know who would appear in the woods, so she could only ask her daughter not to run around. After coaxing her daughter to sleep at night, Ame kept thinking about the strange things she had encountered in the past few days. In fact, she didn't dare to continue living here. But where else could she go if she didn't live here? When she escaped, she shot her husband. So on the way to the ancestral house, she didn't dare to let her daughter show up. Whenever she had to go to a gas station or a supermarket, Ame would let her daughter hide in the back seat. She was afraid that her daughter would be found and that her location would be exposed. But she didn't know that there was someone more terrifying than her husband in the ancestral house. Yura let out a shrill scream. Ame ran up to pry the door open, but it seemed to be welded shut. Ame finally came in to pick up the bed. As soon as she landed on the ground, she opened the closet to look for her daughter, but there was no one inside. Yura seemed to have disappeared from the face of the earth. Ame was the only figure left in the huge house. Our video today ends here. If you like it, please subscribe, follow, and support me. See you in the next movie.